Hey everybody, you're listening and watching to the We Are Rizin podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin. My co-host, Jay Christian Gary from Focus Fights is incognito right now, parts unknown. But right now with us, we have a very special guest. He will be at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport October 11th, courtesy of Game Changer Wrestling. He'll be taking on Calvin Tankman. With us, we have Alexander James, who's season on CW. It was with WXW now. Thank you so much, Alexander, for talking to us. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me.
So first, I got to ask, pandemic, how have you been surviving? What have you been doing? All that good stuff.
Ever since it started and I was forced to come home from Germany early, all I've really done is kind of stay inside as most people should as much as possible and train. Like all I've really put my mind and focus towards was I kind of, once I got home, I wrote off wrestling for the rest of the year. I was kind of like, okay, odds are, or worst case scenario, I won't be wrestling again the rest of the year. So there's no excuse for me to not come back to wrestling in the best shape humanly possible. I don't need a gym to do that. I just need to be careful about what I'm eating. I just need to stay focused, and I just need to train. And I can do that perfectly with body weight stuff, with the things around my house. Of course, getting back into the gym, a couple months into it was very helpful and preferred, but I didn't need it. So all my focus has been towards training, preparing to wrestle when I come back and as best as humanly possible. And also towards my Twitch stuff and the things I do with that regarding like charity and things of that. And, the kind of an outlet outside of wrestling and fighting and such.
Now, are you like when it comes to Germany, are you like, I don't think you're a citizen, but are you like, I don't know, permanent resident or something? Or is there
I'm not a permanent resident. I go back and forth a lot. So most people just assume I live there, but I am in the States more than half the year. I just kind of, again, when I come home, it's to rest, recover, train, spend time with family. I don't take too many bookings while I'm home. And I kind of have a history of in the States, how do I put this? The time I spent in the States before going over to Germany more full time wasn't the best well spent, I guess I could say. There's a lot of places that maybe gave me opportunities or didn't give me opportunities, and some of the places that did give me opportunities kind of showed me in a light which wasn't the most beneficial. And it kind of took me going away and leaving the States and going to Germany to kind of put myself in the higher profile position I found myself in. So whenever I would come home, it's kind of hard to get to work to some of those bigger places and stuff because my availability is very limited. It's only for a brief period of time. There's no telling whether or not we can do anything long term because before you know it, I head back over to Europe. So it's almost a blessing in disguise of being forced to be home, because it's a possibility that if I wasn't forced to be home and commit to the States for at least the remainder of the year, I might not be doing Bloodsport. So,
So I want to ask, when it regards, you said that that it sounds like WXW changed you significantly as a wrestler. Can you just talk a little bit more about that? Like, what about it, that in the environment changed you into the person who you are now, the wrestler who you are now?
it wasn't even so much that I would say it changed me as much as, or changed my wrestling as much as it changed me as a person and the confidence that I had. Here in the States, I was always taught to do things, quote unquote, the right way or a certain way. And I was very mat-based, fundamental. I don't do too terribly many flashy things. I don't, come off the top rope really. I don't, any of that kind of stuff. And so I was passed by for a lot of opportunities, I think, because of that. But then when I went over to WXW in Germany and got in front of Walter and was with the likes of Thatcher and Jörn Simmons and stuff like that, what I was usually, condemned for, I was, complimented for over there. After my very first weekend with them, kind of Walter took me aside and he was like, yeah, you're the first person from such and such company that after their match, we didn't have to ask, hey, can you please not do this, and this anymore? Can you please, not for lack of better terms, respect the rest of the card and that kind of thing. And me and Walter talked a lot about wrestling and psychology and our beliefs in it. And we shared a very similar beliefs in wrestling and what it should be and how it should be perceived. And so there, I just fit in immediately. I was a piece to the puzzle. So that really boosted my confidence and helped me be reassured that, the way, even though maybe I wasn't rewarded for it here in the States, the way I see wrestling and I perceive wrestling and I go about wrestling and train wrestling isn't the wrong way. It is, the way I look at things is good. The way I go about things is good. Maybe it doesn't fit every single place, but I didn't have to get in my head about it. I didn't have to try to change who I was. I didn't try to have to face or meet someone else's expectations or change who I am as a person in order to fit what someone else wants on the card. I had the confidence in myself to be like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I do. So I'm just going to do it to the best of my abilities, and I'll either succeed with it, or places that don't like that, they don't have to use me. That's fine.
And so, Jesse, it's interesting you bring that up because with the way that the United States independent circuit has gone, it sounds like they have kind of gone in the direction. Uh, it seems like they're going in at one point the opposite directions, but now your type of style is being embraced now. While about maybe I think 4 or 5 years ago, it was kind of seen as it wasn't what fans were looking for, but now because it seems like everybody has almost everything has been done to the point that they have to work backwards now to make
Yeah.
wrestling more simple, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think it's that's kind of what I'm chomping at the bits. It's kind of why I'm chomping at the bits a bit to be back in the States, especially with Bloodsport. Because when Bloodsport first came about, I looked at that and I was like, I'd love that. That's the way I like to work. That's the way I like to wrestle. That's the way I like to fight. No misconceived notions. No, not to not break too many walls or anything. Not too many spoken words in the back, not too many things nod and winked or anything like that. It's the ending is going to be what it is, and go out there and protect yourself. And that's to me, that's a night off. That's what I like. That's what I enjoy. That I can get behind and grit my teeth into, and to see that a little bit more rewarded in guys like that, especially in the vein and in the footsteps of a Thatcher, a Walter, a Gulak, who trained me and such. That's very refreshing. So it's almost a perfect little story, like you said, like 4 or 5 years ago, that wasn't rewarded. Everything was going the opposite direction. And 4 or 5 years ago was when I started leaving to go to Germany. So now to be forced to come back, get this high profile opportunity, and the States have changed to where now people who, like, again, I was messaged earlier by another reputable promoter who was like, yeah, it's good to see you at Bloodsport, because in the States right now, that's one of the big gets. That's one of the big platforms. And for that style of professional wrestling to have such a big platform here in the States is very, very refreshing.
Yeah, so let's talk about your debut at Bloodsport, your Bloodsport debut, I'll say. I think it's your first match since early this year, maybe since March or February, I believe.
Yep. So everybody, I feel awful about it. Obviously the pandemic is a horrible thing, and it's really messing up people's, wrestling schedules for the year. But I really can't complain about how 2020 wrestling wise went for me, because my only bookings so far have been 16 karat gold tournament in Europe, which is one of the most illustrious pro wrestling tournaments in all of the world, which I had an amazing outing all weekend. And then Bloodsport. So I haven't done a lot of work, but it's been some quality work so far. So I've been pretty fortunate with that.
Mm-hmm. And what about ring rust though? I don't know, is that ever a possibility? I don't know how long you've ever had a break in between wrestling, but is that ever a thing? Ring rust. Once you get back in the ring after a sabbatical.
It absolutely is. It depends on the length of time and how long you've been doing it yourself, right? So I've been wrestling about 12 years. So if I go a couple of weeks without wrestling, I'm not missing a step. A couple months though, which it's been 6-7 months since I last wrestled, it's that'll creep up on you no matter how long you've been away from it, especially with cardio wise and stuff like that. But since I've been home, I was in contact with the school I first originally trained at, which is the EWA Pain Factory in Baltimore, Maryland. And I got the key from the owner. He lets me run my own classes. I can go down whenever I want. So the past several weeks, I've been going down, running trainings 2 to 3 times a week, not only for the students, but also to blow myself up, get myself in ring shape. And even this past Friday, we had more of a shoot style training where I showed them some amateur background things, some catch wrestling things, some jiu-jitsu things, just to add to their repertoire if they want it. Again, it was completely optional. And then at the end, I was like, all right, guys, I'll stay in. Get in here, do what you got to do. Try to blow me up. When you need to be gone, slide out. Next one in. And so I just been, I've been doing my best because I love being a trainer. I'm a trainer over at WXW. I love being a trainer here at home. I even have some seminars coming up while I'm here at home. But it's hopefully beneficial for them to get to learn from someone like me, who is, possibly one of the more successful students ever come from that school. But also it's very beneficial for me because it's a bunch of young kids with a lot of energy that I can just, if I can blow them up and I can still keep my win and go through a couple of them, I know I'm ready to go.
Mm-hmm. And so let's talk about your match at Bloodsport against Calvin Tankman. Literally a tank man. He the size of a tank he is. What have you? Are you familiar with him previous before this? And if you are, what are your perceptions about him as a pro wrestler and as an opponent?
I was not aware of him before the announcement or before he was announced for Bloodsport. Again, I don't nothing against him. Obviously, it's just not being too in tuned with the States as of recent. A lot of names go past me. But after that, I looked around. I texted some people, some mutual acquaintances. I've heard nothing but good things. From what I understand, a younger guy into wrestling, but very, very talented. Very athletic for a big man, which is exciting to me. I think this style of pro wrestling is maybe a little bit new to him, but I'm really excited to see what he brings to it. And when I saw him announced and I saw the size difference and stuff like that, I knew I was going to have a lot of fun with it. And I'm pretty excited to work with him on this.
No, this would be your first time against a big opponent. I'm pretty sure. Remind me, you have faced Walter before, right?
I've wrestled Walter in a tag match. I've wrestled Jeff Cobb, who's maybe shorter than me, but he's built like a goddamn fridge.
Yeah.
Brute Vance, like bigger opponents are not something foreign to me. Although as the years have gone on and I've gotten bigger myself, they've become fewer and far in between. But they're still a welcome surprise every now and then.
Mm-hmm. So how do you prepare for a match against a guy who is bigger in size versus, I don't know, someone who may be similar in size or smaller than you? Is it just, talk about the cardio, blowing yourself up. Is that something that you don't really have to worry about because maybe the bigger guy might win himself out first before you? Or, just talk about that.
So like, with Bloodsport being as particular as it is, no ropes, it's not, it's that pancrase style of fighting. A bigger guy for me is almost welcome. I have a very strong amateur wrestling background. I have a bit of a jiu-jitsu background. I have an okay catch wrestling background. I was trained by a lot of catch wrestlers. As a kid, I wrestled in the heavyweight division almost all throughout my career, even when I was, smaller in stature. So the size to me only brings more opportunity to use against him. I train, I'm not a small guy myself, about 6'3", 225, 230. So not, it doesn't bring so much of a weight disadvantage to where it could really, really be a detriment as much as it could be a detriment for himself, I think, because there's plenty of different ways I can use his weight against him, just coming from my amateur wrestling background. I lift heavy as well. Not that, obviously functional strength is much different than weight room strength. But I'm not unfamiliar to bigger guys. Even, over at WXW on some of the occasions he could be there rolling with Walter or doing jiu-jitsu and catch wrestling, stuff like that. I understand what it feels like to have a larger opponent on top of you, how to get away from that situation, how to use that against them. And so the only thing that maybe poses a problem going into this fight is his size in the stand-up and staying away from his reach and creating that distance to where he has to move to get me and create those opportunities and making him move. So I want to make a move to blow him up. I want to make a move so he has to reach for me so he can't hit me. I want to avoid those shots as much as possible. And when I have the opportunity, I want to get him to the ground. I want to be on top of him. And I want to force him to try to get up. I want to force him to try to get back into his familiar zone. Because if I can take him into those deep waters, I'm going to drown him.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say the ground aspect. Though obviously you would not want a man of that size to be anywhere holding you down.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's the one worry is that if you take it to the ground, there's always that little possibility. If there's a little bit of inch for him to take, he'll take about 10 feet, and then suddenly you have a big man on you, and then it could be a short night. So I like with that, would you want to wait for him to make the mistake, or do you want to try to lead it to the ground yourself and then work and then try to get off on top from your back on his top that way?
It depends on how he goes about it, right? It depends on how my game plan gets reacted to by him, right? If he's not falling for it, if he's staying steady, if he's staying collected, if he's staying center of the ring, and I can't bait him out, then I'm going to have to put the pressure on a little bit, try to get him to step a certain direction, and then I'll have to make the advancement. If he's rushing it, if he's coming forward and he's maybe going to take a shot, or if he's starting to throw hands and I can goat him into following me around a little bit, then I'll wait for him to make that 2-bit long of a step. I'll wait for him to maybe, if I circle to my left, he circles to my right, and I can take the leg there. So I have to see how he reacts standing up. Now, when it gets to the ground, regardless of who ends up where, it's all just a matter of staying calm. I'm not necessarily sure what his background is outside of pro wrestling or before pro wrestling, but with my possibly more extensive areas of catch wrestling and jiu-jitsu and wrestling and stuff like that, I have that ability to stay calm. Regardless of if he gets on top of me, I'll hold on to something, I'll prevent his next position, and I'll stay calm, I'll think, I'll plan. So I think that's the key going into it. But regardless, like you said, if he gets on top, being a big guy, no matter how quickly I can get out of it, it's going to take a lot of energy to do that. And the best bet is to try to expend as little energy as possible in those situations and try to get him to spend much more. So definitely ending up in the top position to begin with is ideal.
The other factor I want to ask is this show is going to be outside, and I'm curious to know, have you done outside wrestling shows before? Any outdoors competition?
I have. I've wrestled outside a plethora of times. I probably couldn't name how many times.
I was going to say, is there a difference between wrestling outside versus inside, and just, knowing, changing the pace or knowing what pace to go at depending on the environment?
It depends on the temperature that day. So in most areas, sorry if you hear my German Shepherd every so often, he's very excitable. In most situations, right, some pro wrestling encounters, fights, catch matches, whatever, they're indoors, they're in a controlled environment, AC, whatever else, that's not a factor, right? Unless you kiss super smaller indie shows where it's a garage or whatever, and that's really humid and hot. But taking that out of consideration, it's going to depend on the weather on that day. If it's hot and it's humid, which, I mean, it's up north, so I don't know it's going to be too humid, but if it's hotter weather, then it's going to blow us up quicker. Going to have to be a little bit more conservative with the energy. You're going to have to think a little bit more. We're going to be hot and sweaty, more likely to slip off. That does me a great disadvantage because he doesn't have to worry necessarily about his knuckles slipping off of me or his hand if he goes to strike me and knock me down. But if I'm trying to put in a hold or a sugar hold, like I tweeted in earlier, and my hand's slipping out from underneath that tricep and I can't get something on that big body, that could really do me a disadvantage. So if it's hot weather, I need to keep him moving and blow him up and make him sluggish. If it's colder weather, then I need to keep myself warm, right? I need to try to come in quickly. I need to get to the top game. I need to take us down quicker. So that way I'm warmed up. I'm ready to go. The weather isn't affecting me too much, but I'm already in a position to where I can succeed, if that makes sense.
No, I understand. Are you just going to be wrestling on Bloodsport that day, or are you doing any of the other shows GCW is having?
As of right now, I'm just doing Bloodsport.
Okay, because actually that's another fact as well. He's wrestling also on Focus Culture. I don't know if that show is before or after Bloodsport. Do you think that's also an important factor, that he's wrestling not once, but at minimum, at least twice that I know of, that maybe, I don't know, he might take it a little easy because he doesn't want to injure himself and then he can't go to one show, or he may take it easy in the first match and save up all that stuff for your match? Is that all a factor also as well?
I don't know. I don't know him personally, but from what I've heard about him, I don't think Calvin Tankman is the type of person to ever go more than 110%, which I'm fine with. And depending how he goes about the pro wrestling match on Saturday, because I believe For the Culture is Saturday night. If I'm not mistaken, I very well could be. But I don't think he's going to give anything less than 110% both days. So I don't think that's necessarily going to come into a factor. Could that result in him unfortunately getting injured the night before? Of course it could, but that goes with any match, whether you take it easy or not, because injuries always come from the things you don't expect. So I think he'll be perfectly healthy and ready to go come Sunday.
Also, I want to bring up that I believe your girlfriend, Killer Kelly, will be on the card as well, taking on Allison Kane, that four women's match tournament. She will.
I'm very excited to see her in this kind of atmosphere, and I know she's excited for it as well.
Is this the first time you've ever been on a card together?
No, I mean, she wrestles for WXW as well. We've been on many shows together. We've even teamed with each other once in Denmark, which was a lot of fun. So we're very familiar with each other in the locker room.
Okay. Is she what? Is there anything you could say about her preparation, or are you two doing any sort of joint training for your respective matches, or anything
Yeah,
like that?
she's definitely excited. She's definitely taking this very, very seriously. This is her first big outing in the U.S., especially since leaving NXT UK. So I know she's trying to make this a statement weekend for herself, and I'm sure she will be. She's extremely talented. Uh, Bloodsport is an area of which she is chomping at the bits at, but she's also not as experienced. So she's been working with me at the EWA Pain Factory a bit on shoot style takedowns, some amateur wrestling stuff, kind of really getting that foundation down a little bit more so she can apply it come that Sunday. She's already, trained with the likes of like Ringkampf with Walter, Alexander Wolf, and guys like that. And now here in the States, she's training a little bit more on that shoot style with me. And she even, when she was in Portugal and she's home, there's an MMA gym there of which she'll train at. So she's got a little bit more background than more people I think would give her credit.
Mhm.
And she's only learning and getting better each and every day. And again, I'm not a shoot style MMA expert by any means. I have my background, and it is what it is. Whether it's long, whether it's more than some, shorter, or not as much as others. But she's taken as much advantage of it as she can, and she's like a sponge. If you teach her something, it might take her try or two, but when she's got it, she's got it. So I'm very excited to see how she does, and I wouldn't be surprised if she took the whole tournament.
Okay, I'll have to say because she has. We already know that she has Allison Kay, but then we don't know if she's going to face Lindsay Snow or Layla Hirsch.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows one opponent, but she doesn't know the other as well. Just as somebody who's been in tournaments yourself, is that always like I don't know? Is there extra nerve or anxious factor that comes not knowing who you will face next in a tournament, or is that ever a thing, or do you just take it in stride?
I think it depends on if other competitors in said tournament have a clear advantage on you in something in that area. But for her, I don't think that's the case. And she doesn't know Snow, but she's wrestled Layla before, and she's come up victorious on a big stage as well. Allison Kay, she doesn't know, but at least she has time to prepare and things to see. So I don't think nerves as far as the unknown are going to play a factor in this, right? Like maybe if she didn't know, maybe if like the next round was either someone way bigger than her or way smaller or something like that. But I think everyone's relatively close to the same size, the same experience levels in certain aspects, and they bring something their expertise to their respective fight round, whatever. So I don't think that's going to play a factor too terribly much.
Now, Bloodsport was originally supposed to be on WrestleMania weekend with the Gotch Robinson tournament, and of course, unfortunately, pandemic fucked it all up. And I'm just curious to know would you like for them, you get invited to the Bloodsport show, would you like to be a part of the Gotch Robinson tournament if they decided to run it back sometime?
I'd have to refamiliarize myself a little bit with what the Gotch Robinson tournament is.
I think it was
But
single match elimination tournament that they were going to have during WrestleMania weekend. And the winner gets the Gotch Robinson trophy that Bloodsport made.
Oh, absolutely. I was so it was part of Bloodsport, correct?
No, it was part. Yeah, it was going to be a part of Bloodsport, and
Okay, I think that's why I got confused, because at first I thought you were meaning it was like a separate thing, because I was kind of like, I thought that was the same. But no, I would absolutely love to be a part. This is a preferred style for me. It's nice to see the States incorporate it a little bit more. I know Germany's been doing it a bit for years, the Ambition tournaments and the Ambition shows and the Ambition wildcard fights and stuff. I would love to be a part of it here in the States as much as humanly possible. I haven't even completed for Bloodsport and Josh Barnett yet, but from learning from Tim Thatcher, who's a student of Josh Barnett, I would love to learn from Josh Barnett more and get to work for him more in the future. I'm excited to meet him, and I already know I'd love to work from Bloodsport more in the future, even without having this fight go however it goes. So I'm looking for any opportunity to get into this type of fight and wrestling match, whatever you want to call it, more often.
Now, I know that one of our listeners has been asking us to ask all of the Bloodsport participants this. He didn't ask it officially, but I'm going to ask it for him anyway. One of our listeners, Gentleman's Combat, on Twitter. He probably wants to know if you've been watching any Volkan, and if so, he's a big Volkan fan from Pride, Rings.
And yeah.
He wants to know if you're using Volcon to prepare for Bloodsport at all, probably.
I haven't. Lately I've been watching some Gary Albright, some Tamaru, some Takata as well. But unfortunately Volcon I've been passing up on a little bit, just not on purpose. It just hasn't come up. I have like IVP videos has like a best of him that I should probably check out. Buddy of mine works over there. So I'll have to do that now because he said something and he asked. Now I'll have to, so I can say yes.
And so after this Bloodsport show, do you have any other shows or bookings that you're coming up that you can mention, or anything that you can say?
Not that I can mention just yet. Again, as admittedly as I said before, my name value is not the same in the States as it is in Europe. Obviously, with Bloodsport, that could all change, and I'm looking to do that. And I'm looking to, kind of even out where I'm at all over the place and even out my name value everywhere, right? I mean, who doesn't want to be successful at home? But as of right now, there's some things. I guess the expression people say is cooking. There's things cooking I can't really talk about just yet. And also for the most part, I am keeping my bookings fairly selective to, shows that are being safe during this time, shows that are being careful, shows that aren't just like, oh, okay, well, they give us an inch, so we're going to take a mile. Don't worry about sanitizing. Don't worry about masks. Like I just, regardless of everybody's thoughts on the pandemic, I want everybody to be safe. I want everybody to be sound. I don't want anybody to be at risk. And I also live with a dad who's had a series of health problems. So I'm not looking to go put myself in a position where I might end up okay, but I hurt my dad. So, and also I live with a young niece as well. I'm not looking to get her into any danger. So I'm keeping myself also limited to places that are, being very respectful and careful during this, troubling time. Because, people are dying out there, and that's not a joke. That's not funny. But as of right now, there's some stuff coming up. So there's some seminars coming up that are going to be announced. There's possibly some shows coming up being announced and some other companies that I'm looking forward to working with. But nothing that can be mentioned just yet.
If you don't mind me asking, you can talk about it as much as you want, but what do you think about all these people who are anti-mask, who refuse to wear masks, or just putting up a big stink about?
Like to me, it's just, sheer ignorance, right? Like, you're getting told you could save a life to do this. You're getting told you could prevent not only yourself getting this from someone else. You're being blatantly told, and it's science, right? Doctors all over the place, like the CDC and all that kind of stuff, who get 6.5 million or billion, dollars a year in funding, that do all this research to help us, the public, make these informed decisions. But so many people think their 5 minutes on Google is more intelligent than a doctor with millions of funding, right? And the sheer ignorance of it, to me, which kind of boils my blood a little bit, is you're being told you could save a life by doing this, and you could help someone from getting sick. And even if they don't die, we're now finding that people that have had COVID have longer lasting effects. I have a buddy who lives down North Carolina. I'm not going to share his name. It's his business. But he contracted COVID. He has successfully gotten over it. But he was told by his doctor, because of some of the things that happened while being sick, it's going to affect his heart health the rest of his life. So people who are saying it's my right not to wear it, and it inconveniences me, why should I worry about someone else's health, are telling me inherently, as a human being, they think their convenience and their ability to, not have something slightly cover their mouth is more important than other people's well-being, which I don't know about me. I don't hold myself in too high a regard to where I can't look out for my fellow man. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but that's where my thought process is.
Mm-hmm. Well, we obviously with the best health for your father, and hope that he, nothing happens to him during this whole thing. So we wish him the best and all that.
I appreciate that.
So I also want to talk about your Twitch channel.
Yeah.
Wait, were you banned from Twitch or something, or did something happen with your Twitch channel?
No, my Twitter for the Twitch channel, which is the Crown_Gaming, if you guys want to follow, it got randomly suspended with thousands of other Twitters the other day for God knows what reason. The Twitch channel was perfectly fine. Okay. So which the Twitch channel is twitch.tv/thecrowngaming. And again, I've been putting a lot of time into that and the YouTube associated with it. since this whole thing started, because since I've been home, like I'm a full-time pro wrestler. So all I have to do now is find ways to amuse myself, which is my Twitch channel, which is my outlet outside of wrestling, and train. So I've been putting a lot of time into that. We've raised a lot of money for charity so far. Actually, earlier in the year, we raised money for a friend of mine whose restaurant was broken into and the insurance wouldn't cover everything. So we covered money for that. We've been raising money for charities associated with Black Lives Matters movements. We've even raised, money to help out some of our listeners every so often who, just needed a helping hand or something came up. We haven't done a donation or charity thing in a while. We're looking to possibly do one more in the future. But again, also it's just I do it not only for a creative outlet for myself, but it's a safe place for people that just need to escape the world for a bit. Obviously, we live in a very hectic time right now, and most people will be shocked by this. But Alexander James, obviously, is a sadistic, rude, mean individual who wants to see the world burn. But AJ Winkler understands what it's like to struggle with mental health a little bit, needing that escape and stuff like that. And there's plenty of Twitch channels and YouTubes that have helped me do that. And so this is kind of my way of doing it myself and maybe giving back on top of, it's also a small business. It's also, an investment. It's also something I enjoy for myself, but it's a safe place for people to come, have fun, have a laugh, and just, play some cool games.
What are you playing right now on your Twitch channel?
Earlier today, for one of our modders, that's a word now, moderator's birthday, we played Uno, because she's a big fan of that game. So we played Uno as me, Jurn Simmons, Kelly, and her. What was it? Every Monday I play Minecraft, and it's not even the camera, it's just my voice and the game. And I have a little character named Ick, who we always do survival mode, and we see how long he can survive. So far, he's on a second life, and he's on day 3, so he's doing okay. I do week specials, so I try to complete a game that's been on my to-do list within a week or 7 days streaming it. Right now, that game is Nier Automata, which is a very obscure game. Not a lot of people know it. You lit up. You seem to know it.
I am a fan of the Nier game, and especially of the weird-ass guy who created, I think I've got his name right now, Toro, but he always wears a mask in public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody knows what he looks like, apparently. But yeah, I have the... Let's see. I don't think I have. Actually, I do have my PlayStation. Oh, go ahead and talk. Go ahead.
Go ahead. But so Nier Automata is one that was actually one requested by one of our faithful viewers. It's a game that, again, I got for Christmas like 2 or 3 years ago, and I played a little bit. And I was like, oh, this is so cool and it's interesting. And I love that it's based off a possible ending to Drakengard. That's then off a possible ending to Nier. That's also off that. So the obscurity of it was really entertaining to me. So we've been playing that. I just finished Resident Evil 2, doing the Claire playthrough. We've also played, what else did we play? We played Resident Evil 4. Big fan of the Resident Evils, apparently. What else have we played on there? We played a little bit of Rocket League with Jurn, me and Jurn, Damac, Dreamy Daddy. We've all played. Oh, nice. The original Nier. Okay. We've played Age of Empires. We've played golf with friends. We play actually on another stream is, of course, Jurn streams as well. Jurn Simmons, my old tag partner, if everybody knows, twitch.tv/at Jurn Simmons. And of course, our buddy Dreamy Daddy, who used to wrestle, which is twitch.tv/Dreamy Daddy. We played a golf with friends stream with him, which golf with friends is a lot of fun. It was free on PlayStation Network for a bit. We played a drinking game with it where every stroke over par, you had to take a drink, and then if you got a hole in one, you could tell someone else to take a shot. And after 2 hours, I was obliterated. We all were. Mm-hmm. And I watched back some of the stream. I didn't remember some of the courses we played. So that was a good time. So sometimes we do stuff like that. Every couple weeks or every couple months, I'll do an XCOM 2 stream where it's kind of like a reward for the subscribers, because we've had a plethora of subscribers the past year or two, especially since the pandemic started, which I'm internally grateful for because it's really helped me out and helped get the bills paid. And how we do it is we're going to be on 3 coming up soon, but all the moderators and subscribers get a chance to customize one of the soldiers when we get a new one or recruit a new one, and they can give me like a general tips of how they want their character to play, and then I'll go through the game playing as their characters. We'll see who lives, who dies. Every time one of them dies, we take a shot in commemoration in honor of them. And it's fun too, because the chat really gets into it because they don't want their character to die. I get really into it because I don't want to take more shots. It's also on like super hard difficult mode. I forget what the modes are called in XCOM 2, but pretty much after every single decision, the game automatically saves. You cannot go back, and you cannot just exit and cancel it. So anything that happens is final. So I'm dead. One of our moderators, Kim Wrestling, or Captain Kimothy, she has been captured, so we have to rescue at one point. We've lost like 4 or 5 other people so far. I think I've made Yearn. He's still alive. And we still have a bunch of, subscribers waiting to get in on the game. So those are a lot of fun. So definitely get on those when those happen. I'm trying to think what other games did I play. There's some on my desktop here, I'm sure. Smite, which I'm really bad at. Portal 2, me and Yearn played that as a co-op stream. That was good fun. You can find that actually now on replay on the YouTube channel, which is the Crown Gaming. That was a lot of yelling involved, trying to figure out those goddamn puzzles. But yeah, and I got a plethora of other stuff I want to play coming up as well.
I just recently completed for the first time Dark Souls 1.
I don't. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, are you a Soulsborne Sekiro type player who loves those punishing games? Because I know you brought up some games and they're pretty punishing. But
yeah.
Once you go, there's like the Souls games are like on another level.
Yeah, they're made right. The fan base is all about them being too difficult to complete, right? And I think there was some controversy because they were talking about like a future one, or maybe it was like Sekiro had like difficulty levels, or one of the more recent ones they were talking about having difficulties levels in it, or that had it, and the hardcore fan base got pissed because it's like, no, it's just supposed to be hard. Mm-hmm. It's just supposed to punish you. Yeah. Also, I just saw Gentleman's Combat's tweet about mentioning what you talked about. I thought I have my second screen up. I thought that was really funny. But yeah, so I have Dark Souls 3, and I think I have Bloodborne. I haven't got through them. They're so hard. They make me pull my hair out. So that's definitely going to be something I stream coming up soon, because people love it when I'm bad at games, which I love video games. I'm not necessarily good at them. So I think I'm going to get the remastered Dark Souls 1, and that's going to be a future stream coming up. And it's just going to be titled AJ Gets Pissed. Like, no, so it's featuring Dark Souls.
You want to do a drinking game for every time your character dies in Dark Souls. That is.
I would develop a problem.
Yeah. And I'm looking at his tweet right now, and he's, instead of Volkan, which I thought he was going to ask, he's asking how much Magomedkan Gazimatov have you been watching? So he's upping the ante now.
Oh my God. None. We'll go with that. In order to look up those fights and stuff too, I would just have to copy and paste that name, because God, I'm awful at spelling, let alone that one.
So what's been out of all the games you streamed, what has been your favorite so far, or that you've enjoyed the most for whatever reason?
I think Resident Evil 2, because that game is one of my all-time favorites and holds a special place in my heart. Actually, the first time when me and Kelly, before we met up in Mexico and got engaged, we were actually separated for about 6 months because of the pandemic. And we knew we were going to be apart for a while when I had to leave. So the night before I left, I bought Resident Evil 2, which is a game she wanted to see me play because she enjoyed some of them. She enjoys scary games. So we got the projector that I bought her for Christmas. We hooked it up to the PlayStation. We hooked it up in the bedroom, projected it against this big white wall. And for 8 hours straight, we ate pizza and played Resident Evil 2 on this huge wall. And we went through the entire game that night. And the night before I left, it was just so much fun. And it was one of the most fun days I've ever had in my life. The game was amazing. She enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. We had pizza. Pizza's nice. I remember when I used to eat that. So getting to then play the second playthrough with Claire on stream was a lot of fun. It was a trip down memory lane. I just really enjoyed the game. So that was really, really cool. I really like playing Age of Empires too. That's a lot of fun because it's just me and the boys just backstabbing each other, just plundering and pillaging. Portal 2 was a good memory with Yearn because it's just me and my best friend just, getting really mad at each other, trying to big brain something that maybe doesn't require that big a brain. Like some of these puzzles seem like they're supposed to be complicated, but they're really not. And then now I gotta look because all my games are also behind me on the wall, like right there, as you can see.
I can barely see anything. I just see the teddy bear.
Oh yeah, that's Corduroy. He's haunted, so don't stare too closely at him.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to see. I can't read them here either. I don't know why I tried. Also, another one is Call of Duty Warzone. I'm not a big first-person shooter, but I do enjoy the Battle Royale genre. And on stream once, I just put it out there like, hey, I'm going to play some Call of Duty Warzone. I'm going to try to go get my first, Battle Royale win. and I did it. And I was so thrilled. So that was a lot of fun. So I do like playing that game on stream when, it's a slower day. I don't have anything planned. I don't have anything I have to get out. So
I'm surprised you have not said Fortnite. Usually everybody who's a streamer plays Fortnite at one point.
I will not touch that goddamn game ever again. I say that. I will one day be doing a special where I play Fortnite for a couple hours. Maybe that'll be something where we raise money for charity. I always like to do this thing where when people donate to the channel, half of it goes to building the channel, the other half goes to a charity. Usually it was something like the RAIN organization or the Minnesota Freedom Fund, something like that. So I think coming up, I'll do another one of those where we'll select a charity and then like half will go to getting like because again, like I know it sounds weird, like, oh, why does he keep half? But like most streamers just keep the whole thing. Donations help keep the channel going. But when I do longer streams, I'd like to get a charity involved. So I think half will pick a charity that's appropriate for the time, and the other half will go to like, getting a PS5 to run for the channel or something like that. Obviously for me too as well or whatever. But like maybe like I want to do a special. But point is, I want to do a special where I do download Fortnite, play it for a couple of hours, get thoroughly pissed, and then completely delete it off my PlayStation, which has already happened once. I have tried it. I have played it when it first came out. I just these kids, it's like these 9-year-olds that for some reason can not only just fucking destroy you with a shotgun, but then immediately build this goddamn fortress around them. And I'm not quick enough to do that. You had to teach me what Zoom was. Like I'm not competing with these like 9 and 10-year-olds that are like cursing up a storm, but also like just building a house around you at the same time.
Oh, well, I used to play COD. I used to be, I know I wasn't into Fortnite, but I played a little bit. But yeah, the 9-year-old kids, and especially when they get you, they let you know that and sometimes in not so politically correct words also.
Yeah, they're bastards.
So
their parents should be ashamed.
So that being said, Alexander, I just want to give you any last words that you want to say about your match with Calvin Tankman coming up. If there's anything you want to say to him in case he watches or listens to this interview about the match coming up, the floor is yours.
Yeah, if by any chance he is listening, I'm very excited for the match. I'm very excited to work with him. But I see a lot of people. I was pleasantly surprised when they announced that. A lot of people being like, wow, I'm actually really looking forward to this match. Oh, Alexander James in like a good position, excited. And then a lot of people being like, oh man, like this hometown boy, take it home and everything like that. And I'll say this right now. I'm excited to work with Calvin Tankman. I'm excited to fight him. It's not going to go his way. It's not going to be a hometown win. This is not a style of which he's overly familiar with what I'm seeing, but I'm abundantly familiar with. I've fought with some of the best. I've beaten some of the best. And this isn't going to be any different. I know my game plan. I've been training months for this. I've had nothing to do the past 7-8 months I've been home but train. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm on a mean streak. I'm ready to go. I've the best cardio of my life. I've got a game plan. I've got a plethora of ways I can beat somebody, and I'm going to show each and every one of them. And not only this, from what I know, I could be dead wrong. Calvin Tankman is fairly young in the pro wrestling world. I'm going at this a long time. I'm chomping at the bit, and I've had so many opportunities slip past my fingers in the U.S. that the biggest one I've gotten so far that's solidified, that's gonna happen. There's no way in this world that I'm gonna come out anything less than victorious, and there's no way I'm gonna do in this world that I'm gonna do anything less than come out dominant. There's not a single thing, hope, prayer, God in heaven that is going to stop me from walking onto that canvas, coming out with my hand raised.
And I also want to give you opportunity. I know you did the plugs before, but plug all of your social media, Pro Wrestling T stores if you got that, Twitch channel, everything, and anything else that you want to give a shout out to. So
you can find me wrestling wise as Alexander James. You can find me on Twitter at Pain Prince James, Instagram as well as Pain Prince James. My merch store is teespring.com/stores/Alexander James. Don't forget to put the /stores/Alexander James. I do have Pro Wrestling Tees, prowrestlingtees.com/Alexander James for all my EU visitors, fans, cohorts, friends, colleagues. Teespring would be best. Teespring ships and produces right out of Europe. Pro Wrestling Tees is on the works for that, but doesn't do that quite now. And anything you see on Pro Wrestling Tees, you can find on the Teespring. So teespring.com/stores/Alexander James. If you'd like to see me in more of my goofy real world environment, you can follow me at twitch.tv/the Crown Gaming, and the Twitter for that is the Crown_Gaming. The Instagram for that, which I I put out some dope ass memes that are gaming related that also aren't my original content, just so you know. Is the crown.gaming, and any and all booking inquiries can be sent to alexanderjamespop@gmail.com, or you can slide into my Twitter DMs. I'm pretty sure they're open. Just don't ask me for like feet pics or dirty socks, because like, no, not gonna happen. I keep my socks until I completely walk through them. So it's not even a matter of not willing to do it. It's just I'm gonna use them.
You'd be surprised how many women pro wrestlers get requests like that.
Oh, I'm not surprised. My fiance is one of them. I've seen him, and just so you guys know, because it still happens. We announced the engagement like a couple weeks ago, and people still like sliding into those DMs, some creepy, obscure things that you should never say to somebody, and I find them hilarious. So if any of you are sly, because I've seen some that are like, "Oh, shame you're off the market," because this that. Don't think I don't see them. I see them all, and I have a good laugh, and it's hilarious. And I'm not laughing at what you write because you're not funny. I'm laughing at you as a human being.
Well, I just also want to correct myself. Not your girlfriend, but your fiance, Killer Kelly. Hope she does well at the Bloodsport along with you. And for all those that are going to be tuning into Bloodsport, GCW is Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. It's going to be October 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can order on FITE.tv through your FITE credits, or you can pay for it. I forgot. I don't have the exact. I think it's about $17.99. Or you can order it as part of the collective, which includes For the Culture, Joey Janela's Spring Break. I think Black Label Pro might be a part of that collection as well. It's a whole week. So if you're not going to be there, buy the whole thing. If not, at least buy Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. Yeah.
Well, $17.99 is such a good deal. If that's what it is, $17.99 is such a good deal for that kind of show. Just think about UFC fights nowadays. That costs like $60.
$19.99. No, but that's $2 more.
It's how much?
$19.99. I missed.
$19.99. Either way, $2. You got $2. Who doesn't have $2? You can find it in the couch. That is an amazing deal for a card full of what you know is going to be jam-packed action. The most fun you can have legally is what some people would say about it. UFC is great and all that kind of stuff, but this is bare knuckle. This is straight up. This is different styles. There's no ropes. There's no boundaries. It's a fight, and that is a tremendous amount. This is a tremendous deal for a show like that. And as far as anybody who's wondering, oh, should I get everything? This is coming from me. This is coming from wrestling purist, Mr. Technician, Mr. I don't like nonsense wrestling, Alexander James. Regardless of what your taste is, get the whole weekend, because Black Label Pro has got some amazing stuff. Freelance Wrestling has got some amazing stuff. Joey Janela's Spring Break, which is not my cup of tea. I'm not a big theatrical kind of wrestling guy, but there's never been a Joey Janela Spring Break that has not delivered 110%. It's never been anything less than entertaining and never anything less than memorable. And trust me, there's a lot of pro wrestling shows that go out there nowadays that are a lot less than memorable. And I guarantee you, if you buy the whole weekend, you're going to leave with some memories and a good time.
I can tell you this for a fact, that everybody who I know who's watched or gone to a Bloodsport show since the beginning, even before it was Josh Barnett, when Matt Riddle was doing it, I've always never heard one negative thing about a Bloodsport show. Everybody loves it as well. The other shows, listen, if Bloodsport's just your cup of tea, yeah, go ahead with that. But if you want a little bit of everything, if you need a little bit of your shoot stuff, you need a little bit of your theatrics / irony wrestling, Joey Janela's Spring Break is probably the best you can probably get out of that.
Oh yeah,
knows how to do it. And then, like you said, Freelance, Black Label, they always put on good shows, like good pro wrestling shows.
Yeah, and even the other GCW shows, like For the Culture, and I think GCW has like one of their mainstay shows as well. Like there's Shimmer, I believe, is running as well. So many things to choose from, and all worth it.
No, it was Kelly going to be on the Shimmer show by any chance as well?
She will not be. I am not entirely privy to her whole schedule, and some of it I can't announce, but as of right now, I don't believe she'll be doing Shimmer this weekend.
Okay. And also, I'll just mention as well, Killer Kelly also, your fiance will now be on, will also be on the Bloodsport show for the 4-women's tournament. And we hope she goes all the way to the end.
She will. She doesn't get to come home if she doesn't.
Oh, okay. We're going to get to play Resident Evil 3 remake or whatever the.
Oh yeah, that's the next one. That's for sure the next one. I got through the Claire playthrough way quicker than I expected to, so I'm jonesing for some more.
And definitely do that Dark Souls playthrough if you want to get a whole bunch of people to just watch you and laugh or cry along with the way of you. But Alexander James, thank you so much for talking to us. We wish you the best of luck in your match against Calvin Tankman. It's gonna be a fantastic match. And yeah, hope to see you more in Bloodsport down the line. And also, back in WXW when shit gets back to normal.
Yeah, and for anyone who's watching or listening from overseas, because again, that's the majority of my audience, missing me at WXW or revering the fact that I'm going to be eventually coming back, I'm telling you, regardless, the world would have to burn to its core to keep me from coming back to WXW. And I promise you, 110%, the carnage you see at Bloodsport fails in comparison to what I'm bringing back to WXW. I got some people that get owed these hands, and I have so much unfinished business. 16 Karat Gold Weekend was the biggest weekend of my career, not only WXW, but all of my career. And for the world to end afterwards, pretty much, isn't a detriment to me. It's a detriment to everybody else, because that just means I've been waiting for this long to get back into a ring and to capitalize on that weekend. And I promise when I come back, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Great. We're really looking forward to it. And yeah, again, thank you so much for your time today. And stay safe, stay healthy, and can't wait for 2 more weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Take care.